Hey there, Carnage Cravers. Welcome back to Carnage Corner. I am Ken Carnage. I am joined today by Mike. Mike refuses to tell me his last name. I don't think he trusts me. I'm going to be honest. I think he's a little worried.
No chance in hell I trust you.
I think his brothers told him some horror stories about me, which isn't exactly fair, but that's okay. Today we're going to do something fun. We are actually going to go over the top 10 Intercontinental champions in history. This is our opinion. Although, seeing as how we've been watching WWE since before we could walk, our opinion should be somewhat valid. That being said, what we're going to do is we're going to take a number, we're going to give our selection for the number, and we're going to explain a little bit why we put them in that spot. So, Mike, you're the guest. Would you like to go first with number 10?
My number 10. Honestly, I put the list together, not in any particular order, but, go number 10. It's going to be a kind of a comedy pick here. I got to go Santino Marella. Always entertaining to watch Santino, and
Santino was always entertaining to watch. He was an Italian stereotype. Although I did not find him offensive at all. I actually found him quite hysterical.
Absolutely.
Especially when he started grabbing chicks' asses and saying, yeah, he had Roman hands. That was fantastic. That's a solid pick. My number 10 is not a comedy pick, unless you want to look at his personal life. My number 10 is Edge. Edge is a 5-time Intercontinental champion who went on to do much more. So, my number 10 is Edge.
He's going to be later in on my list, too.
Oh, you've got him higher.
I think he's one of the... Personally, I'm biased. I think he's arguably one of the greatest wrestlers, top 5 in my opinion, to ever step foot in the ring.
Oh, I don't necessarily disagree. I don't know if I'd put him top 5, but he's definitely up there.
Absolutely, one of the best heels in the past 20 years.
If we're just doing heels, you said in the past 20 years, I concur.
Arguably, I just remember watching him back in the day. I'm like, oh, this guy, I couldn't stand him as a young kid.
Funny thing about Edge was, you believed you'd never miss Edge till he was gone. And then you realized you missed Edge.
Yeah,
so
it was a bummer.
All right, let's move on to number 9.
I have to go with one of my personal favorites growing up as a kid, Shelton Benjamin. I know a 3-time Intercontinental title holder, but when I first kind of started getting into wrestling seriously, he just recently won it, I believe, off of Chris Jericho.
That was his first one.
I remember a really good title reign.
Funny story. When they because it was at Taboo Tuesday. And so it was voted in. They didn't know who Chris was going to drop it to. And when it came in that it was Shelton Benjamin, Chris asked Shelton what his finish was, and Shelton told him it was a T-bone suplex.
Right, at the time, before pay dirt.
Exactly. And Chris had no idea what that was. So he told this story on his podcast. He decided he was just going to jump off of the turnbuckle and starfish and just trust Shelton to grab him and do whatever it was he was going to do.
Absolutely.
So, no, Shelton is fantastic. I actually would not mind seeing Shelton have a run with a world title.
I'm still praying for that someday, even though every day, I don't know, I'm kind of losing hope because he's getting up there in age, but...
I mean, they did Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, man, look where he's now. He's a comedy act.
He always has been, really.
That's true.
Mean, to be fair.
Unfortunately.
All right, my number 9, even though I do not particularly personally like this person, he's, his career speaks for itself, even though I think he's a gold-digging whore. We're going to go with Triple H.
Oh, that was a tough one for me not to leave. I left him off the list, but I'm like, my memories of him, just another great heel, world heavyweight champion.
To be honest, Triple H used to be one of my favorites, till I met him. And now I'm like, oh yeah. Bro, you're a douche. That being said, and I just killed any chances of me ever having a job there. But that's okay. That wasn't in the cards.
Maybe AEW.
I'll
be at that show in a few weeks too.
Oh yeah?
In Daytona.
Really? Oh, is that where they're doing it?
Yes, sir.
Is that going to be their first television taping?
No, another pay-per-view.
Oh, another. And so what was it? At first it was Double or Nothing, and now it's
Fighter Fest.
Fighter Fest. Okay. I did not get to watch Double or Nothing, but I did take stock of the reviews.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
so they really pulled out all the stops, and I said go get it. Spend Tony Khan's money however you want. Give Vince a big old black eye so that Vince cares about the product again. All right.
We can only hope, dude.
So but Triple H, he had 5 reigns. They weren't the longest reigns. He only had 200 combined days over those 5 reigns. But,
right, but
I mean, just his reign during the 2-man power trip when he was teaming with Stone Cold, and Stone Cold was the world champion, he was the IC champion. Just that whole thing. I know a lot of people didn't like the heel Stone Cold Steve Austin, but those 2 guys together were fantastic.
I remember,
And number 8, who you got?
My number 8, I'm going with another Triple H's longtime best friend, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Really? Okay. Shawn Michaels in at number 8. Now, Shawn had, 3 reigns?
Something like that.
Yeah. And he was, that was back when the IC title meant a lot more.
Absolutely.
And, that was the workhorse title.
It's gotten recovered from the workhorse title. I didn't put him in my top 10 list, but Seth Rollins, man, his reigns over the past year when he won it at Mania. What one was this? 33, I think, in New Orleans. He's putting on some great matches, whether it's Jinder Mahal, and he even said it in his promo. He's like, hell, I even had a good match with Mojo freaking Rawley. He deserves some credit there.
Yeah. Well, Mojo was a New England Patriot, so we know he sucks. That being said, my number 8 is one that you probably will be surprised that I even have on my list, was actually Wade Barrett. People forget about Wade Barrett.
No, I remember him. I was like, yeah, I thought he was back when he was getting before, obviously, the SummerSlam disaster happened.
Oh, yeah.
But he was
Well, before they went and did the whole League of Nations thing, he was in the League of Nations, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Before that, there was a lot of hope with him. Like, he won the first season of NXT and was supposed to get a title shot. I don't think he ever actually got his world title shot. If he did, he didn't win, obviously.
Right.
But he had 5 runs as Intercontinental Champion, and I loved him particularly as Bad News Barrett.
Okay, yeah.
Just the way he started his promos, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. I loved it. It was fantastic. So, and now...
Solid pick,
Yeah, but it's funny, like a lot of people, I know a lot of fans, he maybe didn't leave a lasting effect on them because you gotta remind them who he is a lot of times.
Right, now he's had a brief stint, like, they want to say 5 to 10 years now?
I don't know what he's doing now. I imagine he's probably back over working in the UK.
I think I read something he is, actually.
Because the UK wrestling scene has been kind of flourishing. It's
they have a great show dubbed NXT UK. Week in, week out, it's putting on great shows, and I'm actually excited about their next pay-per-view in Cardiff.
They're doing their first takeover.
They actually had one in January.
Oh, I missed that. I haven't been following the NXT UK.
Okay.
Guys, you're gonna have to forgive me. There's a reason why I stopped doing reviews on the weekly shows. Is because I stopped watching them largely because WWE cannot ask me to give up 3, 2, 5, 6, 8.
It's a lot of time, man.
10 hours a week to them. I got a job. I got kids. I got this.
Like the Heath Slater reference. I got kids.
Side reference. I absolutely loved it when Brock Lesnar said, "Oh, you've got kids? I've got kids. I don't give a shit about your kids."
I didn't see that.
It was before Heath when he wasn't drafted to either show.
Oh,
and he's out there, he's like, I need a job. I got kids.
I see.
And he came out and interrupted Brock and Paul.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. And then Brock Lesnar just whooped his ass, right?
Yeah, he gave him, I believe he gave him an F5. But I loved it because it's one of the few times that Brock actually grabbed the microphone.
Yeah.
And people think Brock can't talk. Brock talks. Brock can talk. He doesn't because he has Heyman.
Right.
But he can do it.
Absolutely. It's a good shtick he has.
He's got a good deal there with Heyman doing all this talking for him.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, number 7.
Number 7, I am going to have to go with Christian, one of my all-time favorites.
Really? Yeah, he did not make my list.
Oh, that's a bummer, man.
I always preferred Edge over Christian.
Oh, Edge was obviously the more polarizing figure. He's better on the mic, but there was always something I enjoyed about Christian when he was in the mid-card, when he had Tyson Tomko as his henchman.
I remember Tyson Tomko. I don't know. Something about Christian always... He's a creepy little bastard.
Hey, that's part of his charm. Good wrestler.
No, he's very good. I enjoy their show on the network.
Okay.
Well, sometimes I enjoy it. Sometimes I shake my head at it because,
It's all for entertainment.
yeah. I think Tommy Dreamer should stop appearing on that show. He keeps...
Oh,
unless he enjoys laughing at himself.
He's an AEW guy now, too, I think.
So maybe he won't be on the show anymore.
Yeah.
He did show up at AEW, didn't he?
He did.
So, all right, my number 7, he had a 414-day reign as Intercontinental Champion.
All right.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
I did not put him on a list. I probably should have.
The match he had with Steamboat, I want to say WrestleMania 3, was the best match on the whole damn card. And that card had Andre versus Hogan.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Hogan never put on good matches, though. Let's just be honest there.
Well, you're not going to get any argument out of me. I've never been a Hogan fan. I will admit the importance of him in wrestling history, but, I've never really been a Hogan fan.
My favorite match Hogan ever wrestled was SummerSlam 05, I think, where it was the match him versus Michaels, and Michaels just threw it. I'm like, this is awesome. Just because of the Heartbreak Kid.
Michaels should have won that match. He definitely should have won that match.
Wasn't as worse as the next SummerSlam when he just buried the Legend Killer gimmick.
Yeah, Orton's still a little sour about that.
Can't blame him.
So, number 6, who you got?
Number 6, I am going with Razor Ramon, a.k.a. Scott Hall, right?
It's not a bad choice. He did not make my list, but he was one of the ones I was picking from. I particularly loved the ladder match at WrestleMania 10, him and Michaels.
Absolutely.
My number 6 is Dolph Ziggler, 6-time Intercontinental Champ, and he's in today's era. He's one of the names you think of when you think Intercontinental title.
Absolutely, yeah. Not the biggest Ziggler guy, but
well, neither am I.
Great performer, but you know what? The whole start-stop push. I can't get on board with him anymore.
Well,
but he's a damn good heel. It's like every time I'm watching when he's doing his heel work.
I don't like the work he's doing right now with his whole "it should have been me." I'm like, no, bro. This is why it's not you. This is why.
Yeah, you dropped the U.S. title the last time you won it.
Yeah.
12 hours later. Yeah, I don't want this anymore.
I don't want this. I thought he was going to debut a new design because the U.S. title needs an overhaul for sure.
It's a participation trophy at this point. They had that made this year to make it big with Samoa Joe. Then they fucked it up.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Yeah, they had to have Joe lose to Rey Mysterio, which makes no sense in the world. I love Rey, but...
Me too. But,
he's not going to beat Joe in a fight.
Joe should have had a year-long violent reign, and then you could have built the title up that way and have him drop it to some young up-and-comer from either NXT or some other guy you want to push.
They should have had Joe beat AJ for the WWE title. That's what they should have done.
I thought they should have put it on Nakamura, but...
Yeah, they could have done that, and it could have been good, but I don't know. I've watched some of Nakamura's stuff from Japan, and I'm under the impression that Nakamura thinks he's on vacation. He's
part of his gimmick.
He's just like he's not putting forth the same effort he did in Japan. Not even close.
Can you blame the guy?
I don't know. Even when back in NXT, he subdued his style some, I guess.
All
now
right.
maybe he was asked to. I don't know.
Okay.
But I was high on Nakamura in the beginning, and now I'm just kind of like, eh. It's like.
Does he even appear on TV anymore?
Well, like I said, I'm not currently watching the show regularly.
Yeah.
I'm going and watching highlights from it so that I can see what happened.
Right.
But I haven't seen them.
I mean, I don't think we do. They devote more of their time for heels to push Shane O'Mac.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily hate what Shane's doing right now. So
He's doing a good job.
number 5, who you got?
My number 5, I am going Edge.
Okay.
Just overall, like you said, I think 5 or 6 reigns.
About 5 reigns. Very good. During a time when the title still did mean something. Although in that time period they were hot potatoing it a little bit.
Right.
But so guys didn't necessarily get the longest reigns. But the roster was so stacked with talent at that time.
And that's about where you don't really need a long reign.
Not necessarily, no.
Like you need, I think, 2 to 4 months and a few successful title defenses.
And good matches. That's
the key on TV. Kind of what Seth freaking Rollins was doing last year.
You like Rollins, don't you?
Well, I give credit where credit's due. He's not one of my favorites, but I do have to give him credit. He
was better than Roman. I'll give him that much.
Yeah, and that's saying something because I'm a huge Roman guy.
Oh God, you are?
I appreciate what Roman can do in the ring, and I think he's a great wrestler.
Yeah, I think the only reason Roman can get in the ring is he spends copious amounts of time under Vince's desk with his mouth open.
That's a debate for another day. I guess.
All right. Well, my number 5, you will have expected me to put this higher, but Chris Jericho.
Ooh.
9-time champion, more than anybody else.
I think you could argue he's a top 5 ever.
He's only getting better and better. And there's another AEW guy.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to him and who's he facing for the
I gotta look that up.
AEW heavyweight title. No, he beat Omega for this spot. And it was whoever won the Battle Royal. I'm trying to remember who it was.
I know who you're talking about.
Marty Squirrel? Is that who it was?
I forgot.
Squirrel. No, Chris Jericho. I mean, you can't. I could have put Jericho at number 1. People wouldn't have batted an eye. But definitely, number 5. Definitely deserving of being on the list.
Absolutely.
So, who's your number 4?
I'm going JEFF to the JA.
You put Jarrett on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huge Jarrett guy.
I was never a big Jarrett guy, although I did get a laugh out of him, bending Vince over the barrel when it came to dropping the IC title to Chyna. I got a chuckle out of that.
All right. I almost put Chyna on the list, not gonna lie.
Why? Just because she's a woman?
No, I actually enjoyed her work back in the day.
Yeah, she was. She wasn't bad. I mean, I've watched some of her matches now, and you can clearly see, some of the guys like Jericho and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're carrying her. They're making her look better than she was. But
right.
that was their job.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, no. I mean, if I was going to, pander to the, if I was going to pander to a certain demographic, I would put her on there just because of me being the first and to this date only Intercontinental champion.
Probably, yeah.
But personally, I chose to just look at her like any other competitor and not give her extra points for being a woman, and so she did not make my list.
Fair enough.
But so where were we? We were on number 4.
Yep.
My number 4 is somebody that some people watching may not have even heard of. He only had 2 reigns with the title for a combined 541 days.
I think I know who you're going with.
Don Morocco.
Okay.
And this is the early days of the Intercontinental Championship. But he had wars with Pedro Morales that were fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah.
So number 3, who you got?
I'm going with The Miz.
Okay.
You cannot go wrong with The Miz.
You can never go wrong with The Miz.
Field before him, that title was more of a hot potato.
He brought it back. He made it the workhorse title again.
Absolutely. Over the years, over the past years, I really started to appreciate him more and more because I remember when he came in, his gimmick was the chick magnet. I was like, this guy's gonna be out of the business within 5 years.
Well, when he first came in, his gimmick was, "I'm the reality TV guy."
I remember like JBL on the announce team would always bury him.
Oh yeah. But you know what? Like, and not for nothing. Just gonna throw this one out there. Anybody who believes in the quote unquote American dream should not bag on Miz. This is a kid from Ohio.
Yep.
Who is now famous, starring in movies, on TV, married a smoking hot model, and it's just like he has achieved essentially the American dream.
He's WWE's workhorse. He's never missed time due to injury.
Nope. He wrestles a style that allows him to refrain from unnecessary injury, something I wish more guys would do. You don't need to flip-flop and fly to put on a good match. You can use psychology and be a heel.
Yeah, he's done that well, and I'm enjoying his face work to this point, even though I want them to push him more to the main event. But you know what? That's just me being a whiny fan.
Oh, well, I mean, I'd like to see him get another run with a big title, but at the same time, I mean, he's on Raw, isn't he? Yeah.
Well, is he really? I don't know what he's on because of the stupid wild card rule.
We should call Vince. Vince, the wild card rule is stupid. No, it's because I've got Vince McMahon's phone number. I did go knock on the door to Titan Tower once. They didn't let me in.
Not surprising. Those bastards.
So, all right, number 3. My number 3 is my number 3 has held the title, I don't know, 8 times. It's The Miz as well.
Oh, he's right there.
I thought it was funny when you said your number 3 was The Miz. Yeah, no, I mean, you just look at some of the people that he's dropped the title to, because sometimes that means more than who you've won it from.
Right.
Guys like Wade Barrett, Dolph Ziggler, Ambrose, Reigns, and Rollins, all 3 members of the Shield won their Intercontinental Championships from The Miz.
Right.
And it's just, I know it's a cliche, but everything he touches is fucking awesome.
It is.
It's just, it is. All right. Who's your number 2?
You had him earlier. Y2J.
Okay. No argument for me.
You're getting always a good match psychology and just anything with Chris Jericho.
And what's even, surprisingly enough, even better than his ring work is his mic work.
That too. He is great at getting the fans to hate him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you have some of those guys who just, no matter how fucking hard they try, they cannot get booed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point, Ric Flair could set puppies on fire in the middle of the ring and people would still cheer.
That's true.
All right, my number 2 is another one from the old days. Pedro Morales.
Okay.
Pedro's another one, long title reigns with this belt. And, again, he had his wars with Don Morocco.
Oh, yep, and what he did, he's just passed away recently. I know he was one of the biggest Hispanic champions and had...
Pedro was Mexican or Puerto Rican?
I don't want to say, I don't know.
I don't remember. Either way. But he was fantastic. Also, one of our early WWE champions as well.
Absolutely.
So.
And speaking of number 1, Pedro Morales.
No shit!
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, awesome. My number 1 didn't make your list.
Oh, shame on me. I'm ready to get roasted in the comments section.
Nope. You're gonna roast me. You're gonna roast me because you had your quote unquote comedy act at number 10.
Okay.
My quote unquote comedy act is at number 1.
Oh God.
He is the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in history.
Oh jeez.
The Honky Tonk Man.
Oh, I love the Honky Tonk Man.
He's still the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in history, and he lost it in a shorter time than anybody else when he got run over by the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh.
So
I could not roast that pig. The Honky Tonk Man is awesome.
I mean, Eric Bischoff doesn't think so, but
Well, Look what he did with WCW.
You mean brought it from making no money to making the most money and making Vince rethink how he did business?
You think that was Bischoff?
I know it was Bischoff. Who else would it be? Ted Turner? He just signed a check.
Oh no, it'd be Vince Russo. No.
No.
I can't even play that seriously.
Russo.
Oh, what a clown show.
Is there anything... See, when you look at Russo sold himself to WCW as, I created Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I'm the reason the WWF is beating you, and this and that. He goes there. They give him free reign, and he does shit like Viagra on a pole matches. And
No, and to quote one of my favorite guys in the wrestling industry, Jim Cornette, it's Vince McMahon was able to filter out his
bullshit,
99 horseshit ideas and say, you know what? That's one good idea. Okay, we'll use that. He didn't have that in WCW, and then he ran TNA down the tubes fast.
Yeah. I don't particularly like Jim Cornette, but every now and again he does say something good.
Oh, how can you not love Cornette? I mean, there's some of the best roasts out there.
Well, I mean, yeah, he can definitely do that. Well, just some of the things he said over the years that I was just like, I don't like this guy. But he was always fantastic, and I particularly liked it when he showed up in the ECW ring and started beating people with his tennis racket.
Oh, God.
So that has been our list, the top 10 Intercontinental Champions in history. It was a diverse matchup. I'm interested to know what you guys think. You can feel free to leave your top 10 list in the comment section. You can tell us we're right. You can tell us we're wrong. Tell us we're ugly and our mother's dress is funny if you want to. It doesn't bother me. My mother doesn't dress me. I don't know who my mother is. No, I'm kidding. I know who my mother is. I just pretend I don't. No. I made him uncomfortable. So until next time, everybody. Mike, you want to say goodbye?
Peace out, y'all.
All right. Until next time, I am Ken Carnage, and always remember that Carnage is right around the corner.